I can remember in my freshman year of high school, I got a text from my sister saying, "School shooter, I'll call you later." She didn't call me later that day. I went to the bathroom and cried. My English teacher had to come and get me and ask me what was wrong. That was not the first school shooting at her school. It happened for many years after. That is a life that no one should have to live, and that really drew me to this movement. And I don't think this should be as divisive between the blue and red lines. This is a human issue. This is a youth issue. This is something that impacts us every single day when we are required to go to school. We are required to come to an environment where we don't feel safe, where we're responsible for our education and for our lives, but are told by our legislatures that we don't have the power to do anything. We need to be in these rooms where decisions are being made, and this starts with us. We are living at a moment that could be the crux of us giving up or us succeeding. And I think our organization is really the epitome of what youth can accomplish when we're given faith from our community.
One of the biggest issues in Washington is the lack of youth representation, both at all levels of government and in systems that were designed to serve us, but don't because young people aren't involved in the solutions. I think a big myth that adults hold about youth leadership is that young people aren't actually equipped to handle quote unquote adult things. And the reality is young people have been at the center of social movements across the state and across the nation. So when youth voices are not included in things like policy discussions, in electoral politics, or in general community, the voices of those that will come into the positions and will come into leadership are not heard. So more ideas that could be innovative and could be happening in our communities are not because of that.
We're not an organization for youth led by adults. We're an org for youth by youth led by youth. And WIA has a bunch of chapters, and within those chapters, we have 2 leadership positions. They're quite literally at the forefront of these movements within their communities, where we can give these leaders the tools that they need to fix the problems that they've seen for so long.
I started our chapter to get youth involved, especially in Yakima, where more red districts. It's really scary knowing that a lot of youth think it's cringe to be involved. If you're not involved, these policies, they're going to affect you, they're going to affect your family, and they're going to affect your friends. And you need to know, and you need to show up and have your voice heard. The federal funding that was just cut from our beautiful Yakima Valley Community College, $1.7 million were cut just a few weeks ago in federal grants because it's a Hispanic serving institution. I think if we could have our legislators or our council or the federal government even listen to us, that is something that I want to push 110% because that is so, so important.
I immigrated here when I was only like 7 from Mexico, and I think what made me want to take action was seeing the fear that it had done to my community. I saw on the news that people were scared to even go shopping for groceries, to get food, to go to work because they might get arrested or they might get deported back to their country that they tried so hard to escape. I think it's really easy for people to get discouraged because they're just consuming so many bad news. At Washington Youth Alliance, I went to my first board retreat, and the adults there were so attentive to me. Like, I would bring up an issue and they'd be like, "Yes, we agree with you and we hear you," and it was just great.
All of these leaders are so smart. Like Pullman chapter, they're doing a rural organizing event, and I really want to do something like that. We have so many great organizations here, and I want to all invite them to come here and share a little bit about what their organization is, what it stands for, and how we can help them.
Over the past year, we have advocated for and achieved over $38 million in youth mental health supports from across the state at our state capital. And we built an infrastructure that works, that's lasting, and that currently are in 10 cities across Washington state. Your support helps us empower a generation of leaders, whether that be through youth stipends, transportation to our state capitol to have their voices heard, or direct engagement by door knocking to lower the voting age to 16.
If I could say one thing to adults watching this, it would be to support your local youth organizations and to support youth all over the country because we're important and we are the next generation to make real change in the world.
Youth, they're the next voices. They have so much power. They're going to have so much say in the next few years. And you need to build that backbone and build that support for those people so they can continue having success in the future.